I would like to thank Jamal Ross for sending me this story, and it is coming out of Baltimore, Maryland, where you have this man in this picture by the name of Karan Peoples, who is 24 years old, who has possibly facing a life sentence because apparently he pleaded guilty to distribution of heroin, in which 27 people overdosed, but 9 people died from their overdoses. Now remember, it's probably more than a few videos back, I actually spoke about how they are going after the dealer of these drugs, and they're like throwing like sentences at them and whatnot. Now what's interesting is that I've done videos about white dealers, and I don't remember them getting hit with any sentences like this. As a matter of fact, I don't even remember going that deep into the story or them saying what they could possibly face. But here you have this black guy, ironically, who allegedly pleaded guilty to these charges, and now he could possibly face a life sentence. I remember back, well, I don't remember because I probably wasn't even around then, but in the 80s, black people who dealt the drugs and the ones who were using both got jail time. Now, it's ironic that, in this case, the white users, who are mostly white, and I won't be surprised if the majority of the ones who are using this are white, because they are the main users of the drug, are the ones who are overdosing. But, they got to protect them and save them and whatnot. But because 9 died, now they're hitting him with a possible life sentence. I'm going to go ahead and read this article. It says a 24-year-old Baltimore man could be sentenced to life in prison in October after pleading guilty to a heroin distribution conspiracy linked to 27 overdoses, 9 of them being fatal. U.S. Attorney Office says Karan Peoples admitted Wednesday that 9 fatal overdose victims and 18 survivors had contacted his phones. Prosecutors say they called him to arrange heroin buys. Law enforcement conducted undercover drug purchases. In December 2017, authorities seized some 900 grams of heroin, roughly $400,000 in cash, digital scales, and other items from Peoples' stashed location. They also recovered heroin from his car. A court-authorized search of 49C cell phones revealed hundreds of texts arranging heroin sales links to overdoses in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Now, I'm almost certain that these were pretty much majority white people, especially in West Virginia. West Virginia is not that many black people living there. Trust me. As someone who has been to West Virginia before, there's not a lot of black people there. And if there are, they're probably just riding on through. Now, I would not be shocked or surprised if they throw the book at this guy to try to make an example out of him. Ironically, what they're going to do is if they can't make black people the face of heroin usage, they're going to try their hardest to make black people the face of being the heroin dealer. Remember how I was saying how in many videos how they overinflate these numbers when it comes to the black dealers, saying that this could have caused hundreds of thousands of deaths, or this could have cost millions of dollars in deaths and all types of stuff, and how I believe they overinflate the numbers with the black dealers opposed to how they would do it with the white dealers. This is no different. But now they're going to use this as an example to catapult, like, look, if your black ass even attempts to deal these drugs, I don't care how much of dire straits you're in, you're going to face the same consequences as this guy. But we shall see, because they said that they said he could be sentenced in prison in October. So pretty much the trial apparently has already happened. It's just that now he's just sitting there and they're waiting for the sentence to actually be passed. Whether or not he's going to get life in prison or not, but whether he gets life in prison or not, he's going to serve some time. And it's going to be a long time too. But that's all I really wanted to say. It's definitely a double standard. I mean, that's no surprise and there's no shock to that at all. Because had it been a white dealer, we already know how it would have went. But y'all let me know what you think about the story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you can, donate to my channel via PayPal or become a patron on Patreon. I'll talk to you in the next one. And one last thing, I can't believe I didn't even say this before I even cut the video off. I feel absolutely nothing Mainly because the people who did this because of who they are and because they chose to go and do those drugs. No one held a gun to their head and forced them to go and do it. This is why it's so ass backwards that they're sending the dealers to jail. But we know why they're doing it, because they know it's mostly white people doing it. Like I specified in the beginning, it's mostly white people doing it. If it was mostly black people, we already know how that would have went. We saw how it went with the crack era back in the 80s and early 90s. And that's all I have to say now.